inside the foot grab, I'm gonna go here to the head. So we gotta have some targeting here and some intent here. So we have to stop it here, which gives us the root of our X-wing disarm. We can't just take this shot to the head. We have to stop it and bring it down, then hit the disarm. Then we can pull. Okay. Can we try this idea? In order to get to the X-wing, different disarms happen in different sectors or different zones, depending on where your hand goes. So we had you guys know that everybody's comfortable with reaching in here, which is what we call above the hand. When I think about sectors, there's lots of different systems that like they label them 1, 2, 3, 4, you know, and other systems will say 1, 2, 3, 4, and then there's another system that says 1, 2, 3, 4, and I can't keep track of all those 1, 2, 3, 4s from system to system. So I break it down like this for myself. Okay, I think at the dividing line here, one side has his hand, so I'm gonna call this the hand side. Can everybody agree with that? Okay, over here there's no hand, just a stick, so I'm gonna call this the stick side. Can everybody agree with that? Okay, so if I reach in here, this is above the hand, and this zone here would be below the hand. This would be above the stick, this would be below the stick. Cool part is if we're over here, this is still above the hand, this is still below the hand, this is still above the stick, this is still below the stick. Does that make sense? Sure. Okay, so you were reaching above the hand, which is what gave him that, right? Now, but now what we're going to do is, like, I see sometimes people get confused and they don't always go here. So sometimes they grab above the stick instead of above the hand. So we're going to be looking at this now. Okay, we go above the stick. So above the stick now, I'm going to wind up going up top. So I go above the hand, I have to go low because my arm's in the way, right? I'm grabbing here and I try to go low. I hit myself. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go up top. Put the back end of the head. So if fires the 1, inside the foot grab, I'm going to go here to the head. Okay? So grab and go to the head. Okay? Fire to me. Okay? Grab and go to the head. Grab and go to the head. Okay? Grab and go to the head. Grab and go to the head. So we got to have some targeting here and some intent here. Now, am I bashing in the head every time? Nope. No. But you know what I'm also not doing? I'm not doing this. So there's all this space and I stop here. I still need to make sure that he has something that he has to deal with. Does that make sense? So create something he has to deal with. Eyes on target, strike zone of the weapon, commitment with control, intent without malice, all of that right here. Can we do this first? If we can do this, we can set up that X-wing. Let's go. So we've addressed what do we do, and they grab above the hand and he stops that. Boom, and we have that first disarm, right? Talk about the other one now. So he grabs and he goes over top and goes for this headshot. So when he does this headshot, I'm going to catch this with my forearm and bring this to my stick. This is coming from the art of Balintawak. Okay? So right away, I want to bring this in. So it's to my stick. Now I want to lay this so that his weapon lays on top of his wrist if I can. Okay? So this is 1, and I bring this together. Now I'm going to move forward so it lays on top of the wrist, and that's going to give me my X-wing. Because we make the X, right? Here, hold on. So we got 1. You guys see the X? That's why I call it the X-wing. And then it's just that first disarm that you just did. That's all it is. It's just that puño or that quick release, that puño push, right? So we can't just take this shot to the head. We have to stop it and bring it down, then hit the disarm. Then we can pull. Okay? Can we try this idea? So the first method, he grabs over the hand. So we have to stop it here, which gives us the root of our X-wing disarm. Second method, he grabs over the stick, which sets us up for the X-wing disarm. Copy? The X-wing is just really just a fancy version of the quick release. That's all it is. It's just the base root. But it's like, how do we set it up? So we're looking at like how Balintawak would set this up. Make sense? Can we try this? Sure. Let's do it. Okay, so now let's change the setup. So we talked about these training pillars, okay? We were looking at it out of Sombrata. Let's jump over to Dumago. Let's jump over to like the clinch method, okay? So the most common position we will probably see when you guys start free playing, like, you know, as we see like this, I'm trying to control his weapon, he's trying to control my weapon, we wind up in this position right here, right? And there's always a little energy right here. So what I want to look for is I want to, give me some energy here. Yeah, I want to turn that over. Okay, so I'm just looking to turn it out. If his hand's just floating in space and I'm touching him, this is not going to work. But if he's actively fighting, giving pressure forward with that hand forward, with this hand, there you go, I can guide that over and find my axe swing. Okay? If there's no energy, if there's no intent, there is no dumog, there is no guiding the weapon, right? So like if we're here and he's just floating that in space, and I'm just holding on to him like it's not going anywhere. If I let this go and this does nothing, then there's no energy to work with, right? So here, like we got this back and forth going on. When I feel that hand push forward, I lay that over. Get the same setup. But you gotta play with it. So let's just play a little bit. We're both looking for it. Oh, there it is. Because you moved it. Does that make sense? So I don't necessarily try to force it. I feel for that moment, like I'm trying to get free. He's trying to get free, trying to get a whoop. There it is. As soon as he starts to come over, I want to lay that on the arm. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
You trying to force it all the way over, they will feel. If you play a little bit and feel like when do they move and guide their movement, it's much easier than trying to force it. Anybody that does jiu-jitsu understands this concept, right? Harder to force it, easier to go with what they're doing, right? If you don't do jiu-jitsu, you learn that concept doing kali. All right, thanks, bud. All right, let's go.